Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning into the show. Global warming, people. There's snow in Florida as I record this. There's snow in Texas. I know people in Florida and I know people in Texas, and they're telling me there's snow on the ground. And I keep thinking, and by the way, too, like here where I live, it was at one point with the wind chill, it was negative 18 degrees. And I kept thinking, like, where's this global warming? Now, listen to me. I'm not smart enough to know this whole thing about global warming. Here's what I do look at, though. I look at common sense. I look at patterns, okay? If you look at, like, John Kerry, if you look at Leonardo DiCaprio, very outspoken about climate change and global warming and the dangers of it as they hop on their private jets, and Leonardo DiCaprio partying with 19-year-old models on yachts. Yes, factual. So watch what they do versus what they say. So that's what makes me, excuse me. No, I'm not sick. I had a little tickle in my throat though. You know, it's funny when you hear something like that, like 4 years ago, you would have been like, oh, he's gonna get the pandemic. But my point being, listen, I don't know, but I know there's snow in Florida. I know there's snow in Texas. I know it's freezing cold. And I know when I look at John Kerry and all of them on their private jets left and right, you know, I always admit if I'm wrong, if I'm right, whatever, but so I don't know the numbers, but it's something like one private jet flight produces more, whatever, I can't even think of the word right now, but you know what I mean. More bad stuff for the environment than like what the average person in their like car, in that powers their, like whatever powers their house, like the electricity, like all of it at one flight on a private jet puts out more toxic crap into the environment than like your car, everything you do in your house for an entire year. Now, I don't know if those numbers are 100% accurate, but I heard something like that, something along those lines. So again, watch what they say, what they do. Leonardo DiCaprio always preaching to all us peasants about climate change, and his yacht, I promise you, is killing more trees than you are for living, for trying to survive every single day. All right, my friends, I'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, as I said earlier, cheers and good on you, boys and girls. Thanks for tuning into the show. Do me a favor, share the show, text it out to a friend, share it to your social media. Get the word out. Let's talk some common sense. Let's bring some common sense, as President Trump said, back into the United States and hopefully around the world. But it is interesting with this whole global warming thing. And if you just look at what they do, if you really believed in certain things, you wouldn't do it. It'd be like a really generic example, but spot on. Like if I said like, if I was going around preaching to everybody, do not eat potato chips. If you eat a single potato chip, you're going to die of cancer within a week. As I eat a potato chip, I'm telling you this, and I'm eating a potato chip. So either I don't believe what I'm saying, or I want to die. I have a death sentence. So it's one of the two. So these people that preach it, and then they get on their yachts and they get on these private jets, you are admitting, using your words about global warming and climate change, and the earth is going to be destroyed unless we change our ways. Peasants, not us elites, but you. Let me get on my yacht. Same thing. All right, enough of that. So Trump's inauguration, the golden age of America has begun. I'm very excited about that. Several things to take away from the inauguration. That was interesting. I mean, it looked like a roast. It looked like Trump roasting Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, talking about what a horrible job they did and how he has to basically save America because they destroyed it. And it felt like a roast. They were just sitting there. They did not look happy. And I thought it was funny too. Not funny, haha funny, but like, he's talking about, we're going to make America great. We're going to do this to make America great. We're going to do this to bring back, money to America and bring, America first, America. And, they're just sitting there. Joe Biden probably didn't even know where he was, to be honest. I mean, he was like, it bad. To think that guy was in a position of leadership, especially for America. My God, I wouldn't trust him running a hot dog stand. But it's weird how the people that stood up and clapped and were excited, and some Democrats did too, by the way, on their side, I should say. But Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, just for the most part, just sat there looking miserable. You could tell they hated being there. They did not like the fact that they had to be there. But to not even support the fact that we're going to make America thrive once again and the things that are going to be done. So, this is the golden age of America, and let's see what Trump can do. Now, of course, he's going to be met with a lot of opposition. They're going to fight him on everything, just like they did before. I think Trump is smarter now. He knows exactly how things play out, and let's see what happens here. Joe Biden had all these preemptive pardons, and it's funny, you can find on recorded. That's the thing. Everybody forgets really easily here. Joy Reid, Schumer, Schiff, all talking about preemptive pardons when Trump was in office. Now, Trump, to my knowledge, wasn't even going to do any preemptive pardons. But I guess the thought process was out there. People were talking about it. It was out in the ether when Trump was president before. And they all came out, spoke against it, how he can't do that. That's not right. You can't do that. Joe Biden, preemptive pardons on just about everybody you can think of. The January 6th committee that destroyed evidence. Why would you have to destroy evidence? And why, Anthony Fauci as well, why would you need a pardon if you've done nothing wrong? And then their answer would be, well, because Trump's going to go after his political opponents. You mean like you guys did? How you guys went after Trump? So again, hypocrisy. They fail to see it. They don't want to see it. They ignore it. They lie. It's just crazy. Believe me, I'm so over getting in fights with liberals that just don't see it. And the fact that Trump had to say, and let me, by the way, President Trump, I want to have full respect, that he has to say during his inauguration speech that there's two genders, man and woman, male and female, however he said it. And the fact that even has to be acknowledged, the fact that even has to be said is crazy. So I liked how he said we're bringing common sense back to the United States. Man and woman. And that's now think about that 2 years ago. I always knew man and women. Everyone listening to this show did, except for the few trolls that do here and there. And that's fine. You're all welcome. I don't care. But isn't it weird? Like even what was that? James can't I don't remember her name. Kante James or whatever it was, where she was like, well, I'm not a biologist. I don't know what a woman is. How could you couldn't even publicly say there were two genders, or you'd be canceled, or you could technically be fired from your company. You could be just the most insane. Like I always said it, like the left, maybe some of the things they were pushing for, okay, maybe we need to see a little change on a few things here and there. I'm open to some things, of course. And by the way, nothing is hate. There's no hate. I don't hate anyone that's transgender. And in fact, I have, honestly, empathy for them. It's got to be a tough lifestyle. I think some people really do feel they were born in the wrong body. And so there's no hate. But the bottom line is, listen, I wish I was 6'2" tall. I'm not. I can't go around saying I'm 6'2", and everyone has got to subscribe to it. Everyone's got to play along, and everyone's got to say it. And if you don't, you're a bigot. I'm clearly not 6'2". So, but we had to play this stupid game. Men could get pregnant. It's like, wait, no, they can't. Oh, you're a bigot. You're a white supremacist. How those get connected, I don't know. But we you almost had to be like, and believe me, this I do know, because I work in an office environment, and I've had people tell me, like, I've literally had people come in, shut my door to my office, and say like, oh, I'm a Trump supporter. Like, why are you whispering? Why are you? Oh wait, but they can't know that I am. I've had. I'm sure everyone listening has had that too. And you've had like you'll get people who are like, men can get pregnant, and then you'll see like a couple people do like the eye roll, like what? And but God forbid if you speak out against that. Men cannot get pregnant, people. Common sense. Now, people like myself and a lot of people I know, we have to just no. I'm digging my heels in on this one. Men cannot get pregnant. I don't care. You could put two men on an island. I've said this before. Just two men on an island, and you can give them all the toys you want, all of the oils and whatever. I won't get graphic. Do whatever you want, and I don't care how many times you check on them. One of those men will not be pregnant. It's not going to happen. So, but again, even having to say this is stupid. So let's talk about bringing common sense. Is the fact that you have to even explain this is stupid. And I think most of the time, these liberals that fight against that kind of stuff, like, no, men can get pregnant. Like, idiot. You know men cannot get pregnant. You know it. So stop saying it. And I also know gender identity and it just, listen. Like I said, with the height thing, I wish I had $1 million in my bank account. I don't. So I can't go on a spending spree and then try to charge $1 million worth of things, and then my card declines and go, you bigot? Of course I have $1 million in there because I feel like I have $1 million in my bank account. So again, let's bring common sense back in, people. But yeah, the golden age is here. I love it. Obviously, very big news. I want to address this. The Elon Musk Nazi salute. Okay, so listen, of course, when the media takes things out of context, and I'm going to explain this through for just a moment. So, did it kind of look like that? Yeah, it did. Was it? Do I believe it was? No, I don't believe it was. I guess, is there a small window of Elon Musk trolling people? Probably, but let me show you how fair I am. I'm gonna explain this out. So stick with me here. If someone told me now or 10 years ago, whatever, it doesn't matter. But let's just say someone said to me, Bill Clinton was standing and talking in front of a group of 10,000 black people. And he stood on stage and he called he pointed to the group and said, you are N-words, okay? Now, I do not like Bill Clinton, but my first thought would be, no way. No way. Like, there's no way Bill Clinton stood in front of a crowd of black people and called them the N-word. There's no way. So, why in the world, on the world stage, knowing that millions of people are watching, would Elon Musk give a Nazi salute? The Anti-Defamation League, the ADL, which I hear is very, very left-leaning, they even said, no, this is ridiculous. He did not do that. Now, he clearly pointed to his heart, and he was kind of saying, my heart goes out to you. Does that look like it? Yes. Do I believe it was a Nazi salute? No. Am I saying that because I like Elon Musk? No. It's just like I said if Bill Clinton, if someone accused him of, being in front of a group of black people and using the N-word. I wouldn't believe that. So I do not believe that's the most ridiculous thing ever. Now, will I say that Elon Musk and anyone basically should be a little bit careful doing anything that could look like that? Because now I have also seen plenty of photos and pictures of Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Obama, I think Hillary and or Bill going like this to the crowd. Okay. Were they doing a Nazi white supremacy salute? No. Let me put another thing in context. I go to church. At my church, let's just say, for example, there's 500 people in the church. That's probably somewhat close to accurate. So let's say 500 people in the church. Let's say 250 of them have. Okay. Now, people that go to church will know what I'm talking about. The band's playing, praising God, right? And then you'll see people go like this, right? Now, If you took, and by the way, black people, Hispanic people go to my church, white people go to my church, a few Asians go to my church. If you took a freeze frame and you just took a picture of a bunch of people, not knowing it's a church, but just doing this, and you said, look, this was taken from a Nazi rally, you'd believe it. Your first instinct would believe it, because it's like, wow, really? And wow, there's a lot of people doing that. But reaching out to God. So, again, context is everything, people. Do I believe? Elon Musk's ex-wife even said, no, we didn't do that. It's not a Nazi salute. It could. Here's another one that gets me. And I do this all of the time. Okay. I do it to my daughter all the time. You good? Okay. You good? That's it's supposed to mean. Man, I'm coughing a lot. Sorry. I'm not sick, I promise. It's supposed to be, I guess. This is a reach, people. Okay symbol is so, like, been around forever, but now we're making it white power for some reason. This is supposed to be the W, and this is somehow supposed to be a P, even though it looks backwards, I guess. It's ridiculous. So stop making everything about race. Stop trying to push that square peg into the round hole over and over and over. It's like I said in the last episode. Have the left not learned anything? And the answer is no, quite obviously. Joy Reid still calling Donald Trump and all supporters, white supremacists and racist. That's why I could tell you that's part of the reason why you guys didn't win. You overplayed it. It's what I was saying before. Some of the things I could have got on board with. Most of it is just like, whatever, I don't care. But then you kept pushing and you kept pushing. It's like you got your foot in the door, be happy. But no, you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. And then eventually everyone starts to wake up and go, well, wait a minute. Like, no. And I see what you guys are up to. And why is the media suppressing this and this and this and this and this? The Fine People hoax. You know how many people believe that and still believe it to this day? How many arguments I've got into people? Donald Trump called neo-Nazis and white supremacists fine people. No, he did not. Listen to the full recording. Again, we know it. He said clearly not the neo-Nazis. And I think he said the white supremacists. But the bottom line is, but what did the media do? And why did they do it? And why were they all in on it? You're the media. Why did they cut it when fine people on both sides? Cut. Look, Trump called. No, he keeps talking after that. You guys leave that out conveniently. Why did you suppress Hunter Biden's laptop? What is going on with the media and all in on it? Is this the indoctrination? Is this where there is that deep state? And oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. There are clearly things that are going on when it came to COVID, when it came to Trump, when it came to Biden, hiding things and literally just exposing lies. The Russian collusion. Trump, Russian collusion. But Hillary Clinton still dossier. Shh. Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody believed Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. And that the camera went out conveniently. He hung himself. And then the second autopsy shows there's no way he could have done it. He was choked. He didn't hang himself. So many people believe he didn't kill himself. But let's move on. Why? Because the media tells us to. Why does the media tell us to? Who are you protecting? So, again, the media is the biggest loser in this election. Trump taking office. The media is the biggest loser. And they should be exposed for, you guys are supposed to be journalists. You're supposed to be, God, I would think you would learn this day one in journalism, your first journalism class. Probably even going back to when you wrote in maybe like your junior high generic newspaper. You probably learned like you should be seeking the truth. Ethical. Be ethical. Seek the truth. But now it's like, no, hide the truth. Expose the lies. And it's not even about clicks anymore. But what does the left do to this day? Even now, President Trump's in office. What do? oh, they're gonna keep pushing the racist white supremacy narrative. But what about, I see all these black people and Trump's friends with them, and oh, but they're the black face of white supremacy. It sounds so stupid even saying it, but yet people do, and people believe it. So it's like Trump can do no right at all. He could end the war between Russia and Ukraine, which is, it looks like what he's pushing to do right now. And somehow, some way, they're gonna, oh, it's because he's Putin's puppet. That's why. Something. Watch. So, I wanted to talk about another issue because I don't want to make the show fully political. In fact, I don't even want to make it political at all. Sometimes political things are in the news, and it's mostly, unfortunately. So I will talk about topical things, but I also want to talk about like life-changing things, deep things, things going on in my life, things that could help you in your life, success, motivation, all that kind of fun stuff. So, I wanted to reach out to anybody out there that goes through depression. And I can tell you that I do, and I have in my life. There's dark times in my life, as, again, most of you. So I'm reaching out because in a way I'm talking to myself too. I go through hard times. I sometimes feel like I'm bipolar, and maybe I am. I don't know. I could be the happiest, funniest guy you could ever meet. I could also be the most depressed, sad. I'm even like, so sincerely from my heart, if you're someone who has a rough time, life gets hard sometimes, I'm talking to you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I go through it too. A lot of times I'm on the show and I have to sometimes I'm not fake in my words. I want to make that clear, but I have to put on a different face when I do this show. And there's oftentimes, right up until I start the show, I'm down and I'm having some really deep and dark, hard thoughts. And I don't like that. And then as soon as I end the show, I go right back to those thoughts sometimes. Now, you guys help me. And I mean that. The support you guys show me. And this, to be honest, that's part of why I took a little bit of a leave of absence. I was having a rough time. And I do have good friends, good people in my life. I love my wife. I love my daughter, obviously. And I just wanted to say, like, keep pushing. You are valuable. You make a difference in this world. And I know sometimes it's hard to see it. Things can be hard. I know, like, when things are hard financially, I feel overwhelmed at times. I feel like the weight of the world on my shoulders. Like, am I going to be able to provide for my family? And, a belief in God too. I trust in Christ. I believe in God. And, I try to read my Bible every day. I do almost every day, and listen to spiritual recordings, good Christian recordings. So I just want to let you know, like, keep your head up, work on things, set goals. Those could help you too if you give yourself a purpose. I guess that's kind of the point of this. I don't mean to be going around in circles, but I just want to let you know, like, I go through very hard times, and I know you guys too. So if there's anything I could say right now to help lift you up, it would be like, try to give yourself a purpose. And sometimes, listen, get distracted in a way. This could be good advice. Get distracted in a way where you're helping others. Because I can tell you right now, oftentimes when you don't focus on yourself and your problems and the things you're experiencing, which I can get completely taken down by, and I have been. And I mean, to the point where I can't even get off the couch. Like, I'm so depressed. And again, this is hard. Excuse me. It's hard for me to admit, so I don't like admitting this. And at the same time, I'm doing it because I want to help anybody I possibly can. So I can tell you, when you focus on a project or helping someone else, if you put your efforts and your thoughts towards how can I help this person? I see they need some help. They're down. I'll give you a really good example and then I'll end the show because I just want to let you know other people are hurt too. So I have this practice. If I can at times afford it, I'll be at a restaurant with my family, my wife and my daughter, and I'll pick, and it's usually an older person. I have talked about this before, but I want to kind of put it into perspective. Like I'll buy someone a meal and they don't know it. I'm not taking credit for it. I don't want credit for it. I'll just call the waitress over, see that guy over there, he's by himself. I want to pay for his meal, but don't let him know, that kind of thing. Or an older woman. It's usually like an older woman or older man, but it's not always. And sometimes too, by the way, like I know one time I saw a guy, he clearly had some health problems. Clearly. Physically, you could tell, and his wife was walking him arm in arm, and he was really struggling. And I paid for their meal, and their meal was more than me, my wife, and my daughter's meal. But it was almost like give till it hurts. And so in particular, there was this one story, one time, there was a guy sitting by himself, older man, sitting by himself. I called the waitress over, I want to pay for his meal. Don't tell him, nothing, right? And it's kind of a little bit of a rush. So you see he got done before we did, and then the waitress is a little out of earshot, but you can kind of basically hear her say like, oh no, someone bought your meal for you, someone paid for it. This guy started crying. I'm not kidding. He started crying. And it let me know, like, now I created the story ahead. Maybe he just lost his wife. Maybe he's by himself. Maybe something else happened and he just thinks there's no good people in this world. And then someone pays for his meal, and maybe hopefully reached out to him and changed his heart, changed his mind a little bit. So I can tell you, doing for others is a good way to get the focus off of yourself and your problems and the things you're going through. It won't solve your problems, but sometimes your problems are just also a perspective change. And I tell myself that too. Logically, I try to tell myself, wake up. You got so much to be happy for. And sometimes I just can't get myself going. And I know a lot of times I'll do it where I just try to make people laugh. And it is true, like where I'm making people's laugh to hide my pain. And that's just being honest. So I don't know if I'm just rambling. I don't know if this helped anybody, but I'm speaking from my heart. I hope it did help somebody. And just, I do think we were put here for a purpose. I do fully believe in God. I accepted Christ as my Savior. I hope you do too. I'm not perfect. I do feel like a lot of times when I'm talking about like God, which I do believe in, I feel like I'm not worthy. I'm not qualified to do so. And I'm working on that too. And to end the show, I also want to say I've got a very special friend, a very good friend of mine, Isaac Hayes. He also has shows on like all the platforms. If you ask me, no one does it better than Isaac. He is part, and one of the reasons I even came back to, he hounded me. And I mean that in a good way. I mean that in a very loving way. When are you coming back, man? We need you back. He hounded me. And again, in a good way. I mean that with love. And Isaac constantly talks about me on his show. He constantly promotes my show on his show. So look up Isaac Hayes, Spotify, Rumble, I believe YouTube as well. He's on all the platforms. Nobody does it better than Isaac. So check him out. A dear friend of mine, someone I have love in my heart for Isaac. He is a minister. Spiritually speaking, he's someone I look up to. The way he has given himself to God and accepted Christ, and Isaac's a good man. So Isaac, with love, I was going to say with love, I love you, and then I'm like, oh, I look like a white supremacist. But see, I think that's what Elon was doing. He was reaching the whole crowd. So I just did the same thing, and I didn't even mean to. So Isaac, with love, thank you, and thank you to all of you. I mean this sincerely. I know it's hard sometimes, but enjoy your life. I'll see you next week.
Daddy, you're so awesome. Daddy, you're so cool. Yeah! I love you, Daddy.